All right, welcome back to Thoughts in Stereo. This is episode 17. As usual, I'm Bijan Amir.
I'm Nick Henriquez.
I didn't introduce us last time on the last episode,
okay.
But whatever, everyone knows already we're famous. I'm Bijan Amir.
I'm Nick Henriquez, and today we got DCF, David Charles Fischer.
DCF. Do I look at the camera?
You can look at the camera.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. What's up,
For all
everybody?
our Spotify listeners, he's looking into the camera right now.
For everyone on Spotify now, I'm really looking into the camera.
DCF is here with us. We're very excited. This was someone that Nick brought in.
Yeah.
So I'm in the dark on this one.
So if this sucks,
So
it's on Nick.
Yeah.
This is all on Nick.
Just so everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, so if I think we only met 6 months ago.
About 6 months, yeah.
About that. But I feel like we've been working together for years.
Yeah, music relationships, I feel like we all know this, move fast.
Yeah.
You know? I look back on people I've only known for a year, and they're like my best friends ever.
Yeah.
For my whole life, I've loved them for the whole year.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a lot of shit together.
Totally.
Tell the listeners what you've worked on, who you are, what you do, that whole spiel. Sell yourself.
Dude, sell my soul, man. Okay, well, I'm from Elora, Ontario, which is near Guelph, Ontario.
Elora?
Elora.
Where Elora Corey is?
Nailed it, dude.
I love Elora.
The one thing that anybody ever knows about. But that's great, though. It's a really cool part of Elora.
Yeah.
So I'm from there, moved to the city, went through an artistic career of trying to find my footing in Toronto. Mm-hmm. It kind of came out the other side as a songwriter, as a lot of people I think do. But basically, I've spent the last year kind of full-time top lining.
Yeah.
And it was kind of my first year actually setting aside my artist career and just going full tilt on the songwriting thing. And yeah, had a good year. Had some gold records in Canada.
Congrats.
Thanks, bro.
I just saw that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. And it's the first year. I don't know. It was one of those things where I was I'll give it a year and see if this is the thing or if I should go back to being an artist.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
What genres do you primarily write for?
So I mostly do pop. Kind of everything though. I like to try to push myself to do more than just that, because when I work with people who exclusively claim that they do pop, I kind of hate it.
Right.
And I kind of feel like they're cursed and they've put themselves in this really weird box.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I spent the last couple weeks in LA working with ex-lovers,
Yeah.
some cool little indie kids, and again, not the music that I technically make,
sure.
but it's cool to be forced to make it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
To bring your ideas into that kind of world, yeah.
I'll make hip hop, I'll do some country shit, I'll do whatever. Dude, I'll fucking make whatever, dude.
Dude, this
I'm crazy, dude.
This guy's crazy. He's gonna make whatever.
Fucking nuts.
He's gonna do future bass,
dude. Future
electronic,
bass, fucking
rap
dubstep,
music, dude. Crazy, dude.
I don't even care, dude.
He's living in 2050 already.
The gold records that David's talking about are a bunch of Bulow songs that I think everyone in Canada knows her. She's a huge pop act. I think you've done some great work working with her,
man.
and
she's great. She was my intro to doing this thing. So
Is she one of the main people that you work with?
Totally. So basically, I was doing the artist thing, and then I met a guy named Mike Wise, and we did a song actually for a Christian artist that
Jesus?
For a Jesus artist.
But was the artist Jesus Christ?
He was formerly known as Jesus Christ.
Oh, great.
His name was Dan Bremnes.
Okay.
Shout out Dan Bremnes one time. Great dude. And it was kind of my intro to Mike Wise and songwriting. And we didn't really think much of the record. And then it went top 15 on Christian American radio. And I didn't know what to do about it. Cause I was so I post about it. I'm not really a Christian dude per se.
Yeah.
But right. You know, do your thing,
Yeah. Post about it.
So I fucking threw some shit up on the gram,
Yeah.
And then kind of Mike was we should work on some other shit together. So we started working on Bulow and this girl Ralph, and just fell in love.
Damn.
Yeah, bro.
Good stuff.
Now I'm out here for real.
So you did have, I know you've released some stuff as an artist.
Yes.
How long, when did you start releasing music as an artist, and not when you first started music?
So basically, I was in a ska band.
What's a ska band?
So ska is the opposite of reggae. So reggae is really chill, right? But then there's the in between syncopated notes. That's the upstroke.
Yeah.
And that's what ska is. So it's this British party music.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of ska. I've never heard it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Never listened.
So it's technically come in waves.
Yeah.
And so when I was making it, it was technically the fourth wave of ska music.
Huh.
So such bands as Real Big Fish, Catch 22, the Planet Smashers,
See, again, I've heard of Catch-22.
Okay, Real Big Fish is probably one of the bigger like ska bands.
Ska bands. How do you spell ska?
SKA.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, I'm really jealous of anyone who was like in an emo band in high school and shit, because like that shit has come full circle, and now they can claim that they were in said emo band. Everyone's like, that's so sick, dude. That's so sick because you can use that now.
But now you can. But have you been able to use the fact that you're in a ska band?
This is the first time I've brought it up. I don't tell people about it. It's like a scar on my musical history. Like it's crazy. Like everyone's like, oh, I love going back listening to those records I listened to in high school. I actually can't do it because I listen and I'm like, I can't believe I like this.
Were you
really
like the lead singer?
I was the lead singer and I played trombone.
Trombone. So these ska bands are like brass. They have some,
They have
some brass elements in them.
Yeah. So there's usually like a trumpet player, a trombone player, sax player.
This is a whole new world to me.
Honestly.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it for that long because it doesn't need to be the thing that people like are like,
of
yo,
course,
this guy's
is the takeaway.
He's a ska guy.
Yeah.
He loves ska.
But that was your early stages.
That was my early days, and then basically I started writing songs on the side. As does I feel like any Ontario like
any artist
any person. But like when I discovered Drake and John Mayer, I was like, oh shit, maybe I like don't want to make ska music anymore.
Were they concurrently discovered?
Like actually. Isn't
Really?
that crazy?
Yeah.
Like I was literally coming into Drake and John Mayer at the same time.
Huh.
So I was like, which is weird because if you go back and listen, like they're not that far off.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're both like really soft, especially with, like in the early days.
Yeah.
What year was that when you discovered them?
I'm also really bad with years.
That's okay.
Like anytime I watch like a show and someone's like, oh, 2014 I was here and 2016 I'm like,
it was either 2001 or 2016. There's no.
I was either
I'm
alive or I was dead. You know, I like actually don't know, but I was in high school for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
But then did you do stuff as DCF?
So first off, it was Prince Caspian.
Yes.
LOL,
Nice.
dude. Shut the fuck up, bro. Come on, man. Have some respect, man.
Prince Caspian. That's dope.
No, man, it was shitty. It was stupid. So it was Prince Caspian, and I would like kind of open for the ska band.
Oh, I
Sick.
see.
Yeah, and I could feel like the ska band was like judging me because I would get up and I would like play these like John Mayer ass like R&B songs.
Originals?
Oh yeah, bro. All originals, baby.
Nice.
And
Sick.
thanks, bro. Fuck yeah. Dude, the support here is sick. And I would play these songs and I could just tell the band was like not really into them, and they were like, they wanted me to like write material for them exclusively.
Mhm.
And yeah, anyways, I went to university and kind of bailed on the ska band. We kind of like called it quits for realsies, and I started just doing the Prince Caspian thing. And then basically I got offered a record deal in Toronto.
Nice.
Dropped out of school, moved there.
What school were you at?
Trent University.
Nice.
Peterborough, Ontario.
Very good.
Shout out Trent University. Loved that school, but there was no music there, so I bailed.
Right.
And came to Toronto and just like misstepped with labels for many years. Kind of like had that experience with, I feel like a lot of musicians have had, but it like led me on a path to meeting cool people, so it was great.
The silver lining.
The silver lining was there. And so Prince Caspian, basically the legality of that was that there was obviously a huge book and a huge character from a huge series named Prince Caspian, so I had to
For
drop
legal
that.
purposes, we can't name the series.
Yeah, we can't. I can't. I'm not allowed legally. I've signed some papers, but so anyways, I was Prince Caspian on socials, and my name is David Charles Fischer, so I dropped it and just went by Prince DCF.
Yeah.
And that's it, man.
So do you currently go by Prince DCF?
I just go by DCF, but the Prince is just like tip of the cap. You know
'Cause,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Little homage, man.
Like I call you DCF or David.
Yeah.
And like, for example, like my brother has called you to other people like, oh, yo, is Prince coming by? Like,
Yeah.
that's how he does it like that. And I'm like, oh, it's.
Yeah.
Must be
It's
cool to
Prince
have
coming
like
by,
an old nickname.
It's-
I had so many people I know that are like that. I'm like, damn, I wish people would be like, damn, Dragon Slayer's coming by.
Yeah.
It's just-
It's cool, but it would be cooler if like anyone knew what it was from.
no, but
Yeah,
that's
it's
the,
like I
that's
gave
the
myself
allure.
this nickname,
But that's
you know?
the allure of it.
Yeah, it's kind of
They're
mysterious.
like, Prince is coming by. Like, what? Who's Prince?
And then, but then I show up and people are like, oh fuck this guy.
not that Prince.
Oh fuck, this guy sucks. You know?
That's okay. So you left Trent.
Yeah.
Toronto. So before we get caught up in everything else, the missteps with the labels.
Yeah, so I just like, I don't know how deep we want to get into the label shit, but
Because some of our listeners might learn something
awesome.
from like, if you don't go into too much, 'cause-
Don't talk about anything.
but
you
just
don't
some
want to talk
some
about,
stuff
don't
you learned maybe.
Some stuff I learned was that get a lawyer.
Yeah.
For shizzle, get a fucking lawyer ASAP. Do it early.
Yeah.
Do it quick. Do it regularly. But just, yeah, basically I just was starry-eyed. People tell you things that aren't real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People give you promises when they don't have you know,
and you
the financial
don't have
backing
any reason not to believe them.
Yeah.
At first, you know what I mean. So you go into these deals and
like your whole life, you think, oh, I'm gonna sign a deal and I'm gonna be on.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
So basically, I was approached by a label in my MySpace days.
sick.
Bro, by an A&R, a record label, we don't need to talk about which one. 'Cause
Yeah,
I actually work with them a lot, and they're great now.
Yeah,
It's all good.
No
Sock
need
it,
to
dude.
name names.
But you know what? They were in a financial position to not give me a record deal, but I think that they were kind of playing themselves in like trying to finesse new artists and like offer them deals and shit.
Sure.
And like, so I dropped out of school, moved to the city, and they were like, we have this paperwork coming through. Like, it's all good. We're going to put you on this tour with this artist. Like, it's about to be lit for you.
Right.
Get ready. And then they just ghosted me. Like, actually, like, full on, just stopped replying to my shit.
After you signed.
No, so I moved to the
good.
city.
Ooh.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that would have been worse, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get ghosted after you're locked in?
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Pretty
But yeah, so
shitty.
you moved to the city.
Moved to the city. So honestly, like them getting me to the city, even on false pretenses, is like, I look back on that now and I'm like, that was great. I don't know if I actually maybe would have done that.
Right.
Maybe I would have stuck out and had a degree now.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
What were you in school for?
I was in school for cultural studies.
Cultural studies.
Cultural studies.
How many years were you there before
I was
you left?
too deep into a 4-year program.
And then you
So
said, see you later, suckers.
I said, see you next Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? As I was saying that, I realized what that meant. I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't really
Doesn't really make sense?
here.
But
Pretty cool thing I said. You know?
Yeah, there's definitely a cool thing to
That was
say.
smooth.
For sure.
Professors.
Yeah.
And then so you moved to Toronto.
Moved to Toronto, and like, honestly, man, it's funny now as a songwriter because I look back on all the sit downs at Soho House that I've had with like various A&Rs
Yep.
who are either still working there or like still working somewhere in the industry, and like it's a lot, you know. And it's like it's funny because they'll hit me up now for like songs or like to work with their artists, and it's like such a cool like experience for me now to like not get to like say no, but be like, tell me more, man, and know that like I know, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's just like coming into this with like no knowledge is like, that is the power dynamic. You know, it's like you as someone who's new to an industry, like you don't know and they know, you know, and they're like, whether or not they admit it or not, like people are taking advantage of your lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And like,
That is a very common. That's
oh
very,
my God.
very
And that's like
common.
obviously a thing, but like as a songwriter now, like I'm doing my best to like kind of teach new people
Yeah.
like what they deserve and like what they should ask about, or just anything. And honestly, like you've covered a lot of this on your podcast, but like just like going through and like when to say no to people and like all these things that like people just don't know.
Yeah.
That it's like important just to like
I look back at a couple years ago and like the decisions I would have made and things I would have said yes to a couple years ago that would have put me in some bad positions.
Totally.
Like we've spoken about like you know I had a deal come my way like seven years ago that if I would have said yes to, I would have still been locked in for another 3 years.
It was a
So it
10-year
was a 10-year deal that I was like, I'm doing this. And if my brother didn't like
Shout out
say,
Eric
yo,
one
don't,
time.
yeah,
He thought it meant tenure.
yeah.
He was going to have a tenure.
you thought that?
No,
It's 10 years.
You're an idiot, dude. That's so funny.
He thought it meant it was a musical tenure.
But yeah, like that's that's what we try and push on the podcast.
Sick.
You know, teach people things like this and let them know the truth behind the dirty, dark music industry.
Hell yeah.
It's not that bad, don't worry.
It's not that bad. It's just
Get a lawyer.
Yeah, get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer, man. You know, hold me up to a lawyer, like
Because you know what it is very important because a lot of people are going to be like, well, I can't afford a lawyer. But if you're going into a record label deal situation, first of all, hopefully you'll be getting some kind of money up front. That's just how it works. Second of all, where are you going to like say Nick had signed a 10-year deal, right? And then they gave him like $10,000 up front for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like a lawyer would have been like, buddy, like, are you crazy?
Are you
Like,
out of your mind?
Yeah, like he would have saved him. He or she, would have saved Nick 10 years of his life for $10,000.
Yeah.
You know, and whether or not you pay the lawyer $500 out of pocket, that 10 years you're not getting back after you're in that contract. You know what I'm saying?
No
Like,
way.
you're gonna have to get a lawyer anyways if you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
So you might as well just get a lawyer from the start. Have someone look it over. A lot of times these guys, you know, when they, you know, lawyers, guys, girls, when they see, you know, a young artist, they're not going to try to take advantage of you.
No.
I mean, at least in my experience, but you know, I can't speak for everybody. But
Yeah.
it's just, I think it's so beneficial at the beginning because you don't want to get caught up in something that you're not happy in just because you never had a lawyer look over it.
Man, and it's like, so I'm from Toronto. I'm from Guelph. I lied.
Allura.
I'm from Allura. I lied again. But going to LA, like, for a lot of trips. So this year I spent a lot of time in LA. I'm sure you boys go there a lot too. But just like meeting a lot of young songwriters who like signed deals early, like publishing deals.
Yeah.
With like no cuts.
Yeah.
So no real like revenue source to like get themselves out of these holes of financial debt that they've like put themselves in.
Yeah.
And like, I count myself as someone who's lucky, who's had some success this year, who didn't have to like prematurely sign a publishing deal.
Right.
Which is something that like, which has been like probably the biggest learning experience for me of the year.
Yes, you're not published.
I'm not published.
Yeah.
And again, like, I'm not published, but at the same time, like, to give context, and this is, I've never talked about this, but like this year was 3 gold records, a lot of other radio singles, and like, I basically haven't seen that money yet. You know, it's like starting to come in now.
Time.
Yeah. It takes 9 months, and that's 9 to 12 months, and it's like that is like a thing that like, I just remember riding in an Uber not the day, but like the week that Two Punks in Love for Bula came on, and was like, I was telling an Uber driver, which is another thing that I don't do now that I did when I started out. You like flex on an Uber driver, you know, when like your song comes on, you're like, yeah, I wrote this, man. You fuck with this?
They're like, sure, drunk guy in the back, maybe.
You know, and now an Uber driver's like, what do you do? And you're like, I don't do anything, bro.
Yeah.
I just take Ubers all day. That's all I do. I just ride around in Uber. That's my full-time job.
Flexing on him. But I remember being like, I wrote this song, and he was like, oh, dude, like you must be doing pretty well. And I was like an Uber pool, so it's like an immediate like, you know, you're like, yeah, I do pretty well, bro. I just like do this to like stay humble.
Yeah.
But you know, and it's like, it's so crazy because you can have 3 gold records and still be like fucking broke.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I get why these kids like sign these publishing deals, because like they have to.
Yeah.
Because they can't support themselves for 9 to 12 months
until the money starts coming in.
And like that's insane. Like, so I mean, that's such a larger discussion over like what Spotify pays songwriters, but
like we recently had Andreas on the show,
my boy,
and
how'd you meet Andreas?
Andreas, dude, stepped out of a dream into my life, man. I love Andreas. Honestly, though,
we had him on the show, and one thing we spoke about is when
that was my answer.
when to or when not to sign a publishing deal. Why haven't you signed a publishing deal? Because when we spoke with Andreas, you know, Bijan and I were in the same situation. We had a song come out that was doing quite well, and then we signed a publishing deal because we had something to collect, something to get an advance off, something to push, whatever. Why haven't you signed that publishing deal?
Dude, I'm waiting for that fucking Ric Flair drip cut. I'm waiting for that body cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are big cuts, man. You know what I'm saying? But like those are big cuts.
You've had a lot of success.
Yeah.
With quite a bit of songs in the past 2-3 years. So like,
but they weren't that big. You know what I'm saying?
No. But what I'm saying is like a lot of people
waiting for that big bag, man.
A lot of people would have, after one song going gold, or like one song with a big artist on the radio, they would have been like, I need a publishing deal.
Great question, man. Totally. I think for me, like, so there's signing a publishing deal. For me, it's about the team. It's about, so it's been a year now of like me doing it myself. I have a pretty good contact book of people that I like to work with who have like brought me to the success level that I'm at. So it's like, it's not really about, it's like who's going to level me up to the next stage, who's going to put me in the next level.
Not just who's going to work with me now.
It's not really about the money. Or if it was going to be about the money, it would be like, I want a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about like, it doesn't need to be a number thing, but it's like, now it's about either getting a lot of money or getting leveled up. You know? I've like skipped the step of like, I just need money to survive.
Yeah.
So it's about something else now. It's about finding the community of,
need that right team.
At the publish, exactly, the right team that's just going to like, that actually gets what I do. Because like every writer does something different. And like, you know, I'll work with my homie Jeff Warburton, and he's like a beast songwriter who's just like, you put him in like any room and he's gonna like come out with like the most tactfully written like A to Z song that's just like tells the perfect story, is so linear. And like I can do that too, but if like I sign to a publisher who's looking for like, you know what I mean, Keith Urban style songs, like I might be at a disadvantage because I like to do so many things. I like to like put myself in rooms that like maybe I don't technically belong in, just to like grow and like, you know. And it's like I want to find a team that understands that and understands like me.
That's a good. It's a good method of growing, though, to put yourself in rooms that maybe you aren't comfortable in or haven't had much experience in.
Yeah.
Because you really never know. First of all, what you're going to learn.
Totally.
Second of all, like maybe you can do that and you just didn't know it. Like
sure.
I've like with your songwriting, you've been in various. I'm assuming you're referring to like various genres.
Totally. Yeah.
And did like say you were, as you say, you're predominantly pop writer, say. What was a time where you walked into another genre and you were just like, oh, okay, maybe this is something that I can also pursue?
So about a year ago, you know, Shade, Trampoline Success.
Mm-hmm.
So they're from Washington, from Maryland, and basically they don't love going to LA. And I got linked with their publisher, and we kind of connected on them coming to Toronto to do a little trip. And they came, and in listening to their music on like the couple weeks leading up to the trip, I was like, holy shit, like these guys make indie music. Like I have no business making music with these people.
Right.
But like, so I was really nervous about it. It was one of those sessions where
Did you do ISOU?
I did, yeah.
That's it. You know, it's funny, 'cause like I heard the song after I had met you, but only recently found out that you wrote it.
Crazy, man.
'Cause that song's on my like 2020 top songs, whatever.
2020, worst songs of 2020, bro. Dude,
We're literally
thank you,
a few days in. It's on his 2020
Yeah.
No, sorry,
I really hate that
2019.
song, bro.
My bad. 2019. My bad.
But so that was one of those sessions where like I was really nervous about it.
Yeah. We've both been there.
Oh yeah. And I think you need those sessions though to like humble yourself and like get back on your grind and like, do your homework and like recenter the like, holy shit, like, you know, because I know anytime I walk into the room with someone who's just like they don't seem scared, I'm like, what's the deal? Like, we should all be scared to be here for the first like hour until we like crack the first code of writing, and then we're like, holy shit, you know what I mean?
We're onto something.
We're onto something. That's like what I live for.
Yeah.
Is that like hour, 2, 3, 4 hour into the session where you like crack any form of code. Like it could be the concept. It could be like.
That's when everyone's like, okay.
The chorus melody.
Now we know that there's going to be a song at the end of the session.
Oh my God.
It's that point.
You just like, oh man, fuck, it's amazing. But with them, like, it was in that first hour where I was like, oh my God, this is going to be sick. We wrote a sick song the first day and I was just like, damn, like, I could do more of this. I could do more. And then I linked up with the Ex-Lovers kids and like, or Lou Callow. Like I'll work with people who like are just kind of out of my wheelhouse, and it's like so reinvigorating. And then I go back to the pop shit like with this whole new perspective, and like I don't know.
That's how I feel. Like we had a conversation about this when you were in LA. That I was kind of feeling like some of the sessions I was doing were getting not stale, but I felt like I was doing a lot of the same song over and over, and everyone's coming in and asking for the same thing. And then I kind of took a step back and I said, hold on, I got into this making like underground house music. Let me maybe take a week and go back to that and kind of refine myself. And I did that, whatever, had a lot of fun for that week, took all those concepts that I like relearned, you know what I mean, from that style of music that I loved, brought it into new sessions and made all this new different kind of stuff. So now coming into 2020, I want to go back home, get back in the studio, try and find different people to work with and bring my like old house
that's awesome
inspiration and like stuff I've learned into like brand new, and kind of find that what I want to be working on. Perfect scenario, if that makes sense. You know, it's kind of hard to, you know, like I'm glad that you know, like now you know, you're like, this is what I like to work on, you know, this is what I like to do. I like to do the indie stuff. I'd like to do a little bit of urban. I like to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Totally.
I feel like I'm still like confused, you know?
Fair. Yeah. I just think it's like, I live for that fear.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a pretty consistent person who like I like scary movies because I'm not usually really scared, so I like going to them because I like to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little rush.
Yeah, like that rush, man, that high, dude. I chase that shit. So like, I honestly like, I see a session that scares me, and I'm like, I got to do it. You know, I you know?
That scares me.
I can hear that. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, because you ultimately know when you walk out of it, you've pushed yourself.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's a very rewarding feeling.
Yeah, and when I see people's catalogs be so like different and like diversified over all genres, I'm like way more respectful. I'm like, holy shit, like how did they do all those songs?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always so scared to do sessions that I'm like intimidated by, so I'll like call someone I know well and be like, yo, come do the session with me, so at least I know someone.
Yeah.
Like
it's another good thing though. Call a friend.
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend. That's right. 50-50, phone a friend.
50-50.
Ask the audience. Ask the audience is actually another good one.
That's
like,
good.
it's actually funny because those actually can apply to the music industry.
Yeah.
Like, phoning a friend, like, that's legitimately a way to get through some sessions. Like, hey, I'm not very good at this. You are. Come and help me out with this. Who's going to say no?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
ask the
absolutely.
audience, like, hey, fans, hey, people.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to hear? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I don't know. I don't know why I started talking about this, but it's
Man, no, that's like
Not Jeopardy. What is it? Who wants to win $1 million?
There was actually the ask the audience thing. Sorry, it's Mike.
dude, come on, man.
I always have a problem with the
Be
mic.
professional,
I'm the
man.
only one
Yeah.
that always has a problem
Dude,
with the
this
mic.
is
So
your show,
unprofessional.
Avicii did this thing a couple years ago.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. He it was about 5 years ago that he actually created a website, and everyone sent in loops like
What?
that they made. Everyone sent in drum loops and sent, so that he gave them like a key and a BPM. And he said, let's all make a song together. And everyone sent in loops, and he just basically took loops and just placed them all together.
Damn, that's cool.
And made a song, like a full song. He released the song. It's called You or something like that. Because like for the
Fuck.
audience.
Did he cut like 1 million people into the publishing?
I have no idea how it
he
works.
just fucking stole it, bro.
But dude, I thought it was such an amazing concept because it's
That's a
like,
great concept.
what better
That's
does
amazing.
the audience want to hear than something they made?
They made.
Yeah.
Didn't
Fucking
Deadmau5 do
dope.
something very similar to that?
Maybe.
And it ended up going on one of his tracks, like vocals. He had a contest.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
It
man.
was Develt.
Yeah.
And there's a video of him online.
So lit.
He's
Like
listening to
listens
it
for the first time, and he's like, "This
He's like,
is
"Yo,
the song."
He
Babe,
calls his girlfriend.
Babe, get in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Like, it's fucking crazy. That video is like historical.
He goes, do you hear this? Yeah. Fuck that part. That part's
this,
shit.
This
We'll
like
get rid of that.
this chop and screw shit. Fuck this shit. I hate this.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, man, chill out.
Low key talking shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. What do you? What's your? I don't want to say goals for 2020, but what?
Dude,
Yeah,
that's a good question.
What are you heading? What are you going to 2020 hoping to do differently?
Bro, check this shit out, man.
Yeah.
Check this shit out. This is the real shit.
Oh God.
I know, man. I'm sorry. So like, LA is sick. I love going to LA.
Yeah.
It's like it's an energy boost. You go there and everyone's like on this like next level of energy.
Yeah.
And it's great. For sure. I like used to like.
I feel like there's a but.
Yeah, there's a but for sure. I used to entertain moving there, and who knows, still could. But like there's definitely like Toronto's insane. Like Toronto, the music
Toronto's sick.
right now is like it's.
Yeah.
I think we all feel it like in the last few years, and it's like it's only getting more intense. And like you hear like Universal Canada is now trying to like when they sign an artist, they're trying to like link them immediately to the States, which is like.
Mm-hmm.
In a deal with the States, which is like kind of an unheard of thing in Canada in years previous. So like, I feel like there's a shift right now of like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a buzz here and there's power in us staying here and like kind of developing some new artists and like really helping them get to the States and like kind of not skip Canada, but like have Canada be a plot point in their career versus like the be all end all. Like we're going to get you signed to a Canadian label and that is it. And then we'll go after Canadian radio until the day you die.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm really enjoying kind of like going to LA and like shooting your shot for those big cuts
Yeah.
and then coming home and like digging in with like some artists that I'm like actually obsessed with who I think like could be the next big things. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think so. Scott Harris, big writer, is a New York guy. And I think like just looking at him, he's like, obviously he's in LA and doing his thing, but he's also like in New York, like being the guy in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm one of like very few top liners in Toronto. You know, there's like under 50, you know, who like, who I know. I'm sure there's lots.
Because
like,
a lot of them do as soon as they can go and move.
for sure. And I
They
understand
move
that
to
completely.
Nashville, they move to LA or New York or
100%.
whatever it is.
Or like they don't have a publishing deal and they can't do it all the time.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
doing it like once or twice a month. They're
Yeah.
getting into sessions and like, so they're not really like honing. So they're not like doing it on like a professional level, which is like the other thing where like I know a lot of writers, but they all have like jobs.
Yeah.
You know, and like I respect the shit out of that, but it's hard to commit 100% when you're like, you know, working in a restaurant, which I did for like 7 years. But like, so it's tough, man. It's like this like weird vicious cycle where there's like not a lot of writers. So this is just going to turn into a ramble now, but like,
No,
I
don't.
feel like a lot of artists in Canada don't co-write
Yeah.
or they don't take songs. This is evolving into something completely different. This is an opinion that I have.
Just keep talking.
Just
Don't
get
worry.
it going. So I feel like Canadian pop and American pop is very different.
Yeah.
And it's always been historically different. Like you listen to stuff that gets on the radio, and I'm sure a lot of it has to do with like the CanCon laws and that are great, but they also kind of like put on some music that maybe isn't American level. And I'm not saying that American level pop is better than Canadian level, but it's like it's kind of the industry standard.
Yes.
Whether you like that or not. So no one's really taking songs in Canada. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that. I feel like the A&R scene here is just different than in the States. So like these Canadian artists aren't co-writing, so the factories aren't involved with the creation of Canadian pop music, which is cool, but then you're not getting this like the same level, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like
You're getting their own take, which is good for them.
Totally. And then that music is like CanCon, so it's like getting put on the radio. And it's just perpetuating this cycle of like, well, we don't need to cut in 3 or 4 different writers to get on the radio, to make money, to make a living, to keep the engines running. And it's just this machine that's working, but like isn't helping us change, you know, how other people perceive Canadian pop music.
It's not like developing. It's just they're doing it because they know it works.
Totally.
And it's just, let's just keep it working right now. We don't need to try and push this to 100%. The States. And I feel like that's a lot of like Canadian labels. It's kind of like this thing, like we always say, whenever, for example, Universal Canada calls Universal America, America's like, oh, Canada's calling. Like,
for sure.
Put them on hold. So like, we'll answer them in a couple of days. It's not as important as like America. And that's how they think. And it's such a hard way to cross over. But I feel like a lot of artists now, like even a lot of American artists that I've been working with, they're all excited to put out music, and like people are starting to test stuff in Canada now, and they're trying to get on the radio in Canada and seeing how it works and test their target audiences here, and then move to America. Because I feel like that's such a great advantage that we have as Canadians, that if you do have a CanCon song, get on the radio, then you know if people are going to like it or not. You know?
Can we let our listeners quickly know what CanCon means? And by listeners, I mean me. No, I'm just kidding. But like people that are listening who might not know what you mean by a CanCon song.
Yes. I don't want to explain this wrong, so help me out here.
So CanCon, Canadian content? We'll just keep...
Yeah. CanCon is essentially, there's like 3 or 4 points that you have to hit on the song to make it a CanCon record. And it's recorded in Canada. Yeah. More than 50% of the publishing is Canadian. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then...
So it's 4 points. It's recorded in Canada. Yeah. The artist is Canadian. Yeah. The lyrics were completely written by Canadian. Yes. Or the music was completely written by Canadian.
Is that all 4 need to be hit?
No, I think it's 3
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4
needs to be hit.
And then something about, and then the radio has to play, what is it, 33
something percent.
It's like a third of all music has to be CanCon music. Yeah, okay. So just for people who weren't sure.
So like if I'm working with a Canadian artist, I always aim to try and bring Canadian songwriters. Yeah. Because it's just going to be easier. It's just going to be, it's so much easier to push music onto the radio as CanCon. It's undeniable.
And I'm a CanCon guy, so like I can't hate at all. No. It's not about that.
I think
like,
it's great.
I get that the machine works here. Yeah. And like it's not even like a hate thing towards the labels or the A&Rs who like are perpetuating the cycle, because I completely get it. They're not really getting the reciprocation from the States, so like we have this insular little cycle going here, and I get it. But it's like I'm just trying to figure out how we break it, and I think it's by like staying here, not leaving, or not exclusively leaving, and like just developing the talent that's here.
I'm a traitor, sorry.
Yeah, but like you're back and forth.
I know.
Bro, you're not a traitor, man. You're a good man. You know what I'm saying though? And it's just like about like not just dipping on Canada and like forgetting about it, like remembering that there's like work to do here, and that, you know, the support system of the CanCon is like a great tool for us versus like the be all end all. You know, it's just a tool we can use. That's nice, man.
What was that?
Do you like that?
That was sick, man.
I was loving how he was talking about Canadians. It made me very excited.
Sick, man.
You look super sleepy.
I kind of hit.
Dude, he had that Alwyn's, bro. He's done.
It feels like Sunday today.
Shout out Alwyn's Bakery. I did have a Jamaican patty sandwich with jerk chicken in it. It was bloody delicious. Everyone in the Etobicoke or Toronto area, Alwyn's Bakery, shout them out one time.
It's the best.
It also does feel like a Sunday today.
Yeah.
Even though it's a what, Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
I don't know,
but when this podcast gets released, it'll be a Monday. So shout out to everybody going back to work today listening to this. we're so future proofing ourselves right now. Like January.
I feel like we say it all the time, but eventually we will be like up to date and do these, you know, hopefully do these
by
weekly.
2022.
So
hopefully one day.
Hopefully one day. But we're just trying to get you guys best content.
What do you when you write a song for a pop artist, What?
Yeah. Dude, let's
Fuck
go,
truck,
dude.
yeah, dude. When you write a song for a pop artist, what like? I'm not going to ask you to explain how you goddamn write a song, but like, what are some things that you hit? Maybe when you first start with the artist, like what are things that are important to know or to do when you're writing a pop song? In your opinion, like what makes you feel happy when you finish writing and you're like, yes, boom.
It's a good question.
All right, boom, there it is.
Boom. So for me, kind of coming into the session and like sussing out what part I'm going to play that day.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be different. And that's like also the best part. Like if I had to go in and write a complete song every day, like it wouldn't work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I don't think that anyone would want to hear just a song that I 100% wrote all the time. So I feel good when you have that initial breakthrough, whether it be like you're writing with an artist who has like a lot to say and they have a huge story to give you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if an artist gives me like tons of information about a thing that they want to write about, in my mind, the song's already done. You know, you just got to figure out the melodies to go with this amazing story. Like for me, that's like the biggest hurdle to get over is like actually finding something that like we all seem to actually care about to write about.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that could be like choosing a lyric that we're all like, that's a really cool lyric. Haven't heard that. Like, what's the story behind that lyric? Or just a story that we like. My favorite kind of songs come from like just the most like Robin vibe, like just like dancing on my own, you know, just like some like very real ass shit that you like take and like make that normal ass concept like the most romantic, you know?
Yeah.
Song like Miguel, coffee, man. Just wants to sip some coffee in the morning, man. You know, it's fucking beautiful. You know, like I like that
Super
shit.
simple.
I don't drink coffee, so I don't relate to that record.
I didn't like what you just said, bro.
I didn't like any of that.
I didn't like that, dude. And our viewers won't either, man. So I feel good if like I actually feel like we've made something that's authentic to the artist.
Yeah.
Based off of either some intel that they've given me, like a lyric that they've given me, like even any feedback. And yeah, I feel like a song is going to have a life 100% more if the artist feels like directly connected to it in some capacity. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like there's a fair amount of writers who are down to just kind of like take the steering wheel and just like,
sick. Let me just write this whole
let me
song.
just do this thing because I'm a good writer. Like,
Yeah.
we're all good writers. You know what I mean? Like we're doing this because we're good at writing songs.
Yeah.
It's not really about that. I feel like the songwriting is obviously a really important part, but like the bedside manner with an artist and just like being able to connect and like shoot the shit and like hang out and be like, what do you actually want to write about? What do you like? Where do you see this like song living? Like, oh, I could totally see the video being like this already. That's crazy. Like just chasing those moments in a session, like, and having an artist leave feeling connected to it on so many levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like way more.
It's definitely harder to write without the artist in the room. If you're trying to write for pitch, there's way less of those moments.
For sure.
And there are like, if you really thought about it, you can write down like the 10 moments that they'll always happen in like, you know, within a month of you writing or something.
Yeah.
Like you always have a moment with someone like that, like what you said, like, yo, I could see the music video being like this, and that's a great moment because everyone in the room is like, yeah, sick. There's like a more of a vision to this than just the song. Or like, yo, I can see this dropping out here and a feature coming in here, and you're like, that's really good.
Sick.
Idea.
So we're all lazy. We're not gonna write the second verse. Eh? Sick. Say no more.
The best. Yo, why don't we do half pre? And then everyone's like, okay, so they're tired.
No bridge, right? No fucking bridge, right? 2020 shit.
Yeah,
bro.
like those always happen in
No
a
bridge, no
session.
second verse.
Yeah, no bridge. 2020.
No second verse.
Yeah,
Do
no
you
second
find that
verse.
nowadays, like you get a first and a chorus out, and that's it?
No, I do. I try to go for the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I think
unless.
I think maybe the first and the chorus is more of a hip hop thing.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I've been in a lot of sessions where they
that
leave
what I
the
should-
second verse out, and they just like.
Should I do that?
Leave the second?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like doing that because I like to hear I like to pitch the song next
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's always hard to get everyone that was in the room back in the room together.
Yep.
Schedules lining up, and then it's like 2 weeks down the road. That's 2 weeks gone of pitching time. You know what I mean?
It's true, actually. When you write, do you start like? Do you? Okay, I mean, it's hard to say this, but do you
Just say it,
aim
bro.
to? Bro, honestly,
I'm trying, man.
do you aim to start with writing the chorus, or does it just like kind of just you start and then wherever it gets you, it gets you?
I think that, but also lately, I feel like I've been like, once you get the chorus, everyone can kind of like take a load off and like have more fun.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, this is sick.
We got the main part.
dope.
Yeah.
You know? But that being said, then you can like have the same issues with the verse and be like, fuck, we can't figure it out, you know? So, I don't know. I've had both. Lately, I've been doing the chorus first just because like, I feel like for me personally,
Yeah.
I have an easier time writing the verses, knowing like what we're working towards. We have the thesis now.
Yeah.
Let's like fill in the blanks.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Thanks, man.
Did you do any?
Kiss me.
Did you do any music education?
Dude, no, man. I'm an idiot. I wanted to, man. I just spent so much time in school, like figuring out that I wanted to do music, that like it was hard to like want to go back.
Yeah,
that's fair.
My mom's a piano teacher.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and now she's a music teacher, and she's just an all around like she's got perfect pitch. She's like,
okay,
Oh,
she's
awesome.
like, it's like I grew up with Charlie Puth, man. You know what I'm saying? Let that sink in. Yeah.
Does she always correct you if you're singing something and like you're a little like sharp or flat or whatever? She's like,
you know what?
David,
I've
you're
never
sharp.
said this anywhere, and this is a bad place to say because this is gonna live on the internet.
Oh no.
But like my dad is a huge music fan.
Yeah.
Like literally, the combo of both of them growing up is like why I make music, because like
Yeah.
my dad is like the ultimate fan. Like he like takes photos now at shows. He's like probably the biggest music fan I've ever met. Like put me on to like.
wow.
Arcade Fire, Grizzly Bear, like all these cool indie bands, like he knew first,
Yeah.
and like put me on.
When you say he takes photos, like he's like photography.
He's like a photographer, yeah.
What?
He's really
look
good
at
too.
look at cool parents over
Yeah,
here.
check
I
look
know.
at
Cool
man.
parents
Your
over
parents
here.
fucking suck, dude. My parents lit, but my dad is like pretty tone deaf.
Really?
I don't know if he's aware of that, so this is like an awkward thing. But
Your dad won't watch this.
and my mom has perfect pitch, and she's never said anything, which is love.
That's love, right?
That's
there.
that is actually love.
When I think of love, it is that
That's
right there.
awesome.
Honestly.
So like your dad will just be like karaokeing, and your mom will be like,
Don't hear it. Yeah.
You know what? She's just in love, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's beautiful.
because you know people
That
with
is
perfect
beautiful.
pitch just it's so
Oh.
hard for them not to say something.
They must live their life like just hearing anything in the world and be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
My girlfriend's
it's fucked.
my girlfriend's dad is a music teacher, and he was saying that he knew somebody that had perfect pitch, and like he'd be like the guy would be the most annoying because a
Yeah.
door would creak and he'd be like F sharp, like he would
That's-
just like call things out, and he played on the piano and it'd be like the exact same pitch. He'd be like, "Yep, bing, right there."
And I
That's the
guess
door
it's
creak.
like if you see ghosts at some point,
Yeah.
you just got to pretend like you don't. You know what I mean? Or else people are gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Do you-
it's like-
do you see-
Do you see ghosts, man? I see dead people. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's true.
you just
though.
gotta shut the fuck up after some point.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
like, you hear the F sharp door, and you're like,
Hmm?
the
In
door
your head,
cracked.
you're like, ding.
Was that the door cracking? But really, you're like,
yeah, you
yeah?
just know what
you're
it is.
computing. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Parents
We're
about
just
your
we're having
upbringing.
fun.
There was a reason we started talking about that, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Well,
Something about your musicality growing up.
oh yeah, music education.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Is that it?
Yeah. Did you ever want to do music education?
Did your mom ever
No.
teach you?
Yeah. So actually, no. She immediately put me in piano lessons with someone else.
Oh.
Okay. I think this is where we started. So basically, like I took piano lessons. I just like had a really hard time with theory. I still do. Like I learned the chords I needed to write a song, and
Yeah.
I was just like, that's it. Like I can't actually focus on like gaining more knowledge when I have all the knowledge I need right now to like
Yeah.
learn Your Body is a Wonderland. You know what I mean? So like then going forward, that's just like actually like been my whole vibe with like any music. Like I learned bar chords.
Mhm.
Couldn't tell you like what many of them. I know like a few. You don't like what they
No,
are.
I know exactly.
And
what
like
you
I
mean, yeah.
just I don't know. I've also rationalized why it's important to have someone like me in sessions, but it is just me rationalizing it. Like it definitely would make more sense if I had more musical knowledge in a session. But like I think you need people just like me. Like Jay Cash is like a guy who has like no real musical knowledge, and he's like one of the biggest songwriters in the world. And it's like, so like when I heard about him, I was like, yo, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Like I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Like I can rhyme pretty well. Sick. Let's
That's
go.
important though.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's the funny thing is, and it's actually interesting because there was a TED talk about this, that people innately have like this, like just having from listening to music all their lives can know chords,
Right.
but even though they don't know what the name is, like somebody made a demonstration where he was basically jumping on a big piano. And he would be like, "This is this note," and he would sing it, and then he'd be like, give you the audience like 3 notes, and he would jump back and forth, and they would repeat, and then he would go one further, and they would know like the next thing to sing.
Crazy.
Even though obviously like the whole audience has not studied music.
Everyone
theory.
knows where the resolution.
Yeah,
would
everyone knows how. Like he went 1, 2, 3. He taught them the 3, then he hits the 4th, and then the audience sang it. How it would sound, even though he was like, I never taught you how to do that. Like, so even though maybe you never took music theory, doesn't matter because
he tricked them into knowing.
Yeah. Now you're tricking singers into knowing that you know how to sing music,
dude,
and write music.
I'm just a trickster, man. I'm not even a songwriter.
Let's call this guy Loki over here. Little god of mischief over here. This guy's a freaking trickster over here.
I like that reference, man. That's good.
You know, like pound me.
Bro.
Nice. We gave each other knucks just.
You didn't see, but
I feel like you've done a couple
tips.
Avengers.
I've done more than a couple, but Loki's also Norse mythology beyond the Marvel shit. So get your facts straight.
Get your facts
before
straight,
you check me, bruh.
Okay.
Bruh. Anyways, Nick, continue this, please, because we completely got derailed after that.
Yes.
Do you have any more questions for Mr. DCF?
I feel like listeners are going to have more questions, and I don't have more questions because I know you.
So,
do you have any more questions?
Well, I asked about, let me think, about how we feel about you writing pop music.
Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you're excited about? Anything you're like trying new? Anything you're, you know?
Honestly, man, like, I think this year, 2020 shit, I think there's strength in obviously shooting your shot and like going for those big cuts and sending those big pitch things and like going to LA and just like living that vibe for a second. But I think like trying to develop new things that are cool and like be part of things that aren't popping yet. And like, you know what I mean? Like work with that next Shawn Mendes, work with that next Bieber, like for that next cute little white guy, you know?
Oh my God!
Right?
What should these young and upcoming songwriters say? They look at people like you. They look at other songwriters. What would you tell yourself when you were first starting to make songs?
I would. You know what? I think I did the right things. But what I would tell myself is like keep writing every day. Like never say no to anything. Like work with everybody all the time. Because that's like what I did for like basically 2 years straight. I just worked 6 days a week writing a song or two a day, you know? And I burnt out, obviously. But like I learned so much about like who I was as a songwriter, who I could be, like what I needed to like de-learn about things that like, because you learn so much, you realize that like just because you can write a song doesn't mean like you should write that song. You know what I mean? Like,
that's actually a very good point.
Because I'll step into a session with a songwriter who I know is great, and they write their song, and it's a great ass song, and they just like really want to write it for that artist. They just want to write their song, and they're like
their song for that artist.
Yeah.
See,
and it's like I used to do that for sure. I used to come and I was like, "Yo, I'm a great songwriter. Like, check this song. What about this song?" And people are like, "It's pretty cool, man." And then like I would leave, and I was like, "Oh, it just sounds like me." And there's power in that. Like there's like writers like Julia Michaels who like you hear it and you're like, Julia Michaels wrote that song. And like, but that also might be like, that might not be the way that it's gonna work for everybody, you know? And it's like, I'm sure there's songs that Julia Michaels wrote that like doesn't sound like Julia Michaels because she like gave up that piece of her writing when she walked into the room. And I think like everyone needs to learn how to like
everyone needs to learn how to adapt
and like not be precious and like honestly be able to like know what a good idea is. Even when it's not yours.
A big thing that I feel like a lot of people don't think about is being able to work with other songwriters, like you're saying, being able to adjust yourself so that, you know, you can be comfortable with writing something that doesn't necessarily sound like something that you would usually write. I feel like that's been a big theme this episode.
Dude, and that's a big thing.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
I feel like when I started writing, I would like have a session where it was me and an artist and a producer, and I would like be the writer. I was the writer in the room, and I would like write the song with the artist, and I would leave, and I'd be like, holy shit, I just like fucking wrote a song with that artist. Like, I listened back, I was like, I'm so proud of the song. And then I would work with like another writer and an artist and a producer, and I would have less of a, you know what I mean? There'd be another writer writing half of the song with me. So like, then I'd leave the session, I'd be like, I don't know if I like held my own.
You're a little
like,
less connected.
You know, I like, and that was a hard thing to get over. And I think that's the thing that like
the feeling that you weren't contributing as much as
yeah. And then you realize that it's like, but that's like the point, is that it's like, it's a like a reciprocation, karma based like industry.
Collaborative process,
totally. And like you can't make it, you can't have a longevity in this career writing a song alone every day.
Yeah.
You'll die, you'll burn out, like you'll come in with like, you'll just regurgitate your own shit forever. So it's like you literally need to like have those sessions, and like if someone else carries the weight one day and then you carry it the next day, and you're just equal splits all the way. Like it's just like there's so much beauty and comfort in that to me that it's like I could, because in the first year I was like, I actually don't know if I could do this forever. And then I started working with a lot more writers, and I was like, oh, this is how you do it. You know? You like, and the older writers you work with, you see like they get that more, and they're way more down to like collab and like kind of like be more hands off, because they're like, you know, we're all in this together. Like what you'll pick up my slack today, I'll pick up yours tomorrow, and like
they're more comfortable with that. Yeah.
But that was hard for me to learn, and I feel like as a new, like for new writers, that's like a thing that's really hard to like get over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
All right. Well, I think we'll. How long has that been?
50 minutes.
Oh.
Who said that?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Someone else in here with us.
Oh no. Shut up, Big T. Anyways, listeners, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys consistently checking in on us and listening to the podcast. We're really hoping you're liking all these guests, and we have a lot more coming, so I hope you guys are learning something. As always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, where can they find you?
Yo, man, Prince DCF on everything.
Just Prince DCF.
Yeah.
No periods.
No periods,
no
man.
dashes.
No underscores, no backslashes.
Look at this guy,
DCF.
fancy handles over here.
Must be nice, man.
Must be nice to have a fancy handle. No X's in it or anything.
Prince DCF 69.
Yeah, literally. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, no, it's been fun.
I hope I said something that wasn't stupid.
No, you definitely. There was a lot of great knowledge.
Also,
really?
I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I think a lot of people are gonna learn from what you said.
Yeah.
So thank you. Join us next week for beep. It's a surprise, but it's gonna be cool.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.